Kayfabe Avenue.
Ladies and gentlemen, heels and faces, casual wrestling fans, and all you smart marks, I'm Richie Moon.
And I'm Kayfabe AJ.
And I'm Kayfabe Focus.
And this is Kayfabe Avenue, and we are back for another top five. This time we are doing the top five breakout stars of 2023. And let's not waste any time. But before we get into that, make sure to like, share,
this is the top five breakouts.
Avenue.
This is the top five breakouts for the men. We're gonna do another one for the women, so we want you to check that out. But you want to get right into it?
Yeah, let's get
right,
let's get right into it.
Starting at number 5. This guy's been around for a while, since the early days of AEW, but I feel like he hasn't really gotten into his groove or his shine until this year. And we're talking about Ricky Starks. So do you guys want to give a few examples of why Ricky Starks hit the top 5 breakouts of 2023?
Well, it's been a steady elevation since he started in AEW. I think he's past his rookie years. He's ready to start showing that he's able to put out these decent matches and everything and put out these decent promos. So yeah, I could agree that this was Ricky Starks' breakout year and to become and showing everybody, including the WWE, that he's able to do everything.
Yep.
Yeah, Ricky,
I feel like the crazy thing, God knows what would have happened if CM Punk didn't leave, and that storyline that he was cooking with CM Punk would have continued. What level that Ricky could have really attained this year. I think he got a little derailed in that at first, but then rebounded with the Daniel Bryan rivalry he had.
Yes.
Leading to that strap match, which kind of propelled him into the surprise winning of the AEW Tag Team Championships with Big Bill.
Yep.
So I mean, what can we say? I think we've always seen something in Ricky Starks and always wanted him in good positions. And I think he's one of those that actually benefited from the vacuum that is in AEW's, shows. There's obviously a lot of stars missing, and Ricky Starks took advantage of that.
Facts. Yeah, Ricky got it all. Looks, promo, matches. Next year is gonna be a big year for Ricky Starks. See what he does.
Looking forward to it. At number 4, we have Carmelo Hayes from NXT.
Yep.
There's a lot to say about Carmelo, actually.
Yeah, young man's been putting on bangers. He was an NXT champion. I mean, he was North American champion. I mean,
tagging with Trick Williams, kind of elevated Trick this year along with him.
Facts. I mean, he's in the tournament on the main roster for the United States Championship
against Logan Paul.
Carmelo Hayes is sky is the limit. That's where he's going. Well, not even a limit, but that's where he's going to. He's taking it to the next level. So this year has been a big year for Carmelo Hayes. 2024 it's setting up to be an even bigger year for the young Carmelo Hayes.
Who knows? At the end of the tournament he's in, he faces champion Logan Paul if he could get to it, and Logan Paul just so happens to be number 3 on our breakout stars of the year. Logan Paul, of course, coming off a couple great matches, but this year I think he really found his groove.
Yes.
His rivalry with Rey Mysterio finally rebounding. That's where he actually picked up the United States Championship win, and he, surprised a lot of veterans with this match in the way that Rey Mysterio kind of could have lost his to his neck in a spot, and he pretty much caught him. And there's a lot of veterans that could have missed a spot like that, and it could have been disaster for Rey Mysterio, disaster for Logan Paul. But he showed how much, you know, in such a short time, he's absorbing like the veteran instinct. So Logan Paul definitely shining this year. Not only the championship and the rivalry with Rey Mysterio rebounded, but his rivalry with Ricochet was definitely one of the standouts of this year. So yeah, number 3, Logan Paul. You guys got anything to say about Logan?
He's great.
Yeah, he's good. Yeah, there's nothing, can't really deny him. You don't have to like him, but you
Yeah.
can't deny his in
I
ring.
think a lot of the haters that was like he's a YouTube star, I think they've come around. I think at this point they're
You
not
have to.
seeing Logan Paul as just the YouTube guy.
You have to. If you're watching
He
his in, you can't deny his in ring. You can't deny the athleticism.
Not only that, he's
He,
still boxing out on the side.
he retired.
He just retired right during this after winning the United States Championship to focus more on WWE. But the dude still was boxing during this year too. So
Right.
you got to give him his credit, taking the number
Yeah.
3 spot. And
How good he's done in just a short amount of time. He slowed it down a little bit, more storytelling. Logan Paul can really be a great wrestler.
I
Honestly,
think they're utilizing him smart too, because even though he's not on TV every week, because obviously he's a businessman, they've been using his like YouTube, Twitter clips to actually continue storyline with him involved. He was critiquing all the participants of the tournament this week, which was pretty good TV. Um, but let's move on.
yeah,
I think this guy could have easily been the number 1 spot.
yeah. We
Um,
went back and forth. We went back and forth with this a
yeah,
lot.
both of these men that are on the top 2 could have easily sat in either position for 1,000 reasons, but after a lot of arguing, going back and forth, we settled on LA Knight for the number 2
Yeah,
breakout
Yeah,
star of the year.
yeah,
yeah,
Going from someone who wasn't even looked at, was on the verge of getting fired, ends up in this storyline
yeah,
feud with Bray Wyatt, rest in peace. um you know
yeah,
yeah,
after that, he just started getting all the right rivalries, hitting all the right promos, getting the people behind them. With the absence of Roman Reigns this year, with him scaling back on of a lot of his duties, being on the week to week, we were looking for that big star, and we found it in LA Knight. um a lot of people
LA Knight was
critique
a
him
happy
for like
accident.
being the blend of Stone Cold or The Rock, but I think he found himself.
Man, listen, I don't care what Kevin Nash has to say about that. Like, if there's any two people that you would copy off, why wouldn't you copy off Stone Cold Steve Austin and The Rock? I mean, those guys are like one of the very few people that are bigger than wrestler. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, of course you would steal it from them. But yeah, he's found his own stride. I think people forget that before he was LA Knight recently, he's a veteran. This guy's a 20-year veteran. He's been doing his thing, Impact, NWA. He's been Eli Drake, dummy. So this is not his
yeah,
first rodeo. This is just his first spotlight on the biggest stage there is. So LA Knight, yeah, deserves all this. Like you said, this guy was probably going to get cut last year, be Maximum Dupree to headline in Crown Jewel with Roman Reigns. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's in 9 months. This guy did this in 9 months, and I don't think WWE planned for this. I think he's just one of those guys that
Well,
just
it's been a
naturally
little
got
over
over and
nine
just
months,
caught
but
on.
specifically this year, like he's just went
Yeah,
all the way up. Um,
everybody
it,
know
it
who game this
definitely, it
is.
definitely, jumped off from his year back, because it's already been like 2 years since he's been back, but he really took off this year, and he's been a
Mhm.
big part of SmackDown, even doing double duty for Raw this year.
Yeah,
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 Speaking of
yeah.
somebody who's been doing double, and we can even say triple duty
triple duty.
across all brands of WWE, the reason why he's at number 1 breakout star of the year,
Wait, before you
and
even announce him, the
honorable mention.
longest, the longest of the longest long-term storytelling. Okay, this guy's been in the game for years. It made him an animal. Okay, we're talking about the dirtiest. All right, so one of the dirtiest. You know what I'm saying? One of the best bad guys out there. Dirty Dom. I had to give him that intro. I had to give him that intro only because I was just on Instagram and seeing this clip with CM Punk back in the day when he was beef with Rey Mysterio and he's pointing at Dom when he was 8 years old. And
Yeah.
CM Punk's been wanting to punch this kid in the face since he's 8 years old. And now he's legal.
Yeah, he gets to
Now
do it
done
in like a
destroyed
week and a
him.
half. In Madison Square
Right.
Garden, of all places.
Facts.
A
I
lot of
know,
people
right? What
might
a goddamn intro.
disagree. People love to boo Dom,
You're
and I think
crazy if you disagree with this.
that's one of the biggest reasons why he has to be number one. Who gets the most boos? I don't care if you want to argue, oh, it's piped in, oh, whatever you want to say. No one gets the reaction that Dominic Mysterio has gotten. Like, is there even arguing that?
He got.
Nope.
He got right there.
Like, we thought MJF used to get boos. I think MJF wishes he got the heat that Dominic Mysterio caught this year.
Even when MJF was a top tier heel, he was too likable. He's too likable. He's too funny. He's too charismatic. Dom just really just draws like you really don't like him.
Yeah, so Dom is pulling triple duty. He just finished losing the NXT North American Championship, but he was holding that for months, defending it week for week, actually defending it on Monday Night Raw, stirring the pot over on SmackDown with his dad's enemies and stirring up the pot with the LWO on SmackDown in the forefront of storyline on Monday Night Raw. A kid that honestly a few years and even still to this day, the in-ring might be a little shaky, but I would say has improved immensely over this past year.
Yeah,
Dominic, like you would have thought we'd be saying Dominic is one of those. He is him, like he's one of those guys right now. Right. I feel like that's crazy to even think of for a few years ago.
That was on nobody's 2023 bingo card. If they say that it was, they're a liar. Nobody in 2022 thought that by the end of 2023, Dominic Mysterio will be one of the top heels in the entire wrestling business. Not just WWE, in the entire wrestling business. So yeah, and we've seen him improve in ring. We're seeing him improve week after week, promos, in ring. He's always had his character. He's got so much long-term story stuff that he can just pull off of. Dominic is really on a path, honestly, to be one of the greatest of all time. Deadass.
Damn. That's hard to argue. Yeah. It's still crazy to even hear, but that's definitely hard to argue. Any last things to say about Dominic, about the top five, about anybody on this list? You got some honorable mentions?
I got some honorable mentions. Yeah, but first, I want to say, Dominic, he's great and he proved to everybody that he has what it takes to claim his spot that he's at. And, eventually we're going to see what he does next year. And, it's going to be great, and I'm sure like his father, he's a legend, but I have another honorable mention, which is Christian. Even though he's reinvented himself as part of the patriarchy and started as a breakout to be one of the top heels of AEW.
I mean, it's fair to say we can mention people who have reinvented themselves for the year and made something different that was breakout, and I have to wholeheartedly agree. Christian probably didn't break the top five because he was a previous superstar, and the other guys have really, done big things in a new situation. This is one of his many reinventions. He's been here, but I have to agree that what's up with your father gimmick, like father issue gimmick, he's literally held AEW down with that and elevated the TNT title once again. Right. So I think AEW will be in a lot of trouble if they didn't have Christian around the past couple of months.
Right. Spoiler alert, not even really a spoiler, but when we were talking about our top five, wrestlers of the year, Christian was mentioned a lot of time, but just because the work that he's done with this father gimmick and really being a father of AEW and how fucking hilarious he is, without ever smiling. Christian never smiles. He does all this with a straight face. And the matches, elevating the TNT Championship, he really made that title feel extremely important. Who would have thought in 2023 we'd have Christian Cage and Adam Copeland headlining a Dynamite, and both of them, being super relevant, but Christian Cage really holding that feud up and really elevating it to where it's at. So yeah, definitely. Christian Cage is definitely, even though he's a veteran, but the whole father gimmick is just it's amazing. It's really one of the best things in wrestling. He's really one of the best heels in all of wrestling. So shout out to Christian Cage.
Yeah, definitely shout out to Christian Cage. But that has been our top 5. Dominic taking the number 1 spot once again. This has been Kayfabe Avenue. I have been Kayfabe AJ. That's been Mr. Richie Moon and Kayfabe Focus. Check out our top 5 breakout women of the year of 2023. Watch that episode coming up. You can find us at all streaming platforms. Anyway, you catch a podcast, all at Kayfabe Avenue. And Kenny, take us home.
By and good.